Greetings everyone, I hope you're all well. Today this is just going to be a quick video. Today is Tuesday the 7th of March 23. So basically this is a captain's log, if you like, for a Serissa Japonica. This is kind of mainly for my benefit, but I'm sure it will help others as well. So I'm just going to be explaining a little bit about the Serissa Japonica, also known as a snowrose, tree of 1,000 stars, which is probably its most common name due to the flowers that they present around about between spring and sometime in autumn. It can vary. They're also called a Japanese boxthorn as well. So a few pointers to note about these is that the key one, which I'm going to get out straight away, is they are extremely fussy. Now they're not difficult to keep, but they are very, very fussy. So meaning these guys have been sat in a tank which has been heated, and it's got humidity, really high humidity level, and you can tell like the leaves are nice and green. There's no, oops, sorry, let me just knock the camera real quick yet again. You can see that there's not much browning on the leaves here, the newer leaves. Maybe some of the older ones, because that's when it was grown outside of the tank. So the humidity is an important factor when it comes to preventing browning of leaves. So if the leaves are starting to go brown, it's either underwatered or the humidity is too low and it needs humidity. What else was I going to say? Yeah, the flowers, they do kind of generally grow all year round, but the key time is normally early spring or sometime in autumn. The parent plant for these two actually flowered in around about autumn time, I think. Yeah, it's quite a nice little display of little white flowers, really adorable things, hence the name Tree of 1,000 Stars. What else was I going to say now? Yeah, so okay, the main reason for doing this is because I needed to learn for myself how these respond to pruning, which is obviously quite important when you want to do a bonsai with them. So these were just basically very short cuttings from the parent plant, and as you can see they've sprouted quite a lot. So in specimen A, shall we say, this one I actually, I'll put a photo up, but you might not be able to tell from the photo anyway. But so with specimen A, what I did, I literally trimmed the top off here, so you can probably see the little stub there. So I just cut it off there, which then triggered these two shoots here either side of that stem. So that's what happens when you cut the main leadering part off. It creates two shoots. They also produce these shoots kind of sporadically, meaning like that it's totally random. There's no way of controlling it. For example, you can see one here and another one down here and another one here. So I did try another one there, so you can see them, they're just totally random. There's just no set method. So I also tried another experiment with specimen B here, where I basically, all I did is removed two leaves near the top here. So there was a leaf here and on the opposite side, and all that did was produce one shoot here. So that was, again, just an experiment to see what would happen, and that's kind of the result. Again, it's probably not a guarantee. You might not get any, you might get two. So, but the guarantee is that if you do trim them back, you do get the two shoots by the looks of it. So with bonsai, and we're talking about ramification, of getting more branching and more branching and more branching. This is how it would be done. So you'd have a spindly growth like this, because they do grow quite spindly like this on the tree, when you get a shoot. So yeah, you might get shoots coming off like this, but if you don't, then trim it back, leave a little tiny stub for a bit of dieback, and then you'll get 2 more branches coming off it. And the same again when these have grown a little bit longer and they produce, like say, 2 sets of leaves, do the same thing again, so trim it back again, and then that one will produce 2 sets, and so on and so on. So that's those. I also did some experimenting with aerial roots. So it's been kept, these have been kept in the little terrarium over there, which is an upcycled fishing tank basically, with a heat mat underneath, controlled by a thermostat 24/7 to keep the temperature around about 26.5 degrees C. There's a grow light above it as well, which is a red, blue and UV bulb. So it's not like a white light bulb, it's it has LEDs which has an equal amount of red and blue, which are vital for growth, and they can help force flowering as well. And the UV, obviously, self-explanatory. So aerial rooting, they seem to love humidity, so you can take advantage of that, and they create aerial roots very easily. I don't know if you can see these in the water. I think the light's shining on them. Yeah, I don't know if I can block that out. But yeah, so that's in the water, and with soil. So this one was in water, obviously. I'll keep that there. You can see some here as well. Again, I don't know if you can see because of the shine on the window, but just there on the side. And with them in soil, just no special bonsai soil needed, just normal bog standard compost. These again were just cuttings, very small, and they've gone quite vigorous. In the right conditions they do grow quite vigorous. They like heat, they like humidity. I don't think they like a great deal of bright sun or bright light, because the parent one is still in the tank, and some of the as it gets higher up in the tank towards the light, the tips are starting to go brown because it's getting close to the light. So I might have to take it out of there. So I think too much sun could cause problems. But yeah, as you can see here, let me just show you one of these. Oops, yep, just knock the camera again real quick. There's the one. You can see loads of aerial roots here. So I'm going to keep these back in the tank because I want to see, you know, carry on with the experiment just to see how far I can get them to go. So yeah, here's that one, and there's another one here. So yeah, they seem to come from just below the nodes of the leaves. So if you're looking to propagate, they do propagate quite well. They propagate faster in a humid environment. A humid, warm environment, definitely. So depending on the time of year, depending on your location, obviously, on the globe. So I've been doing these all throughout the winter here in the UK, and like I said, I've just been using either a propagating tiny propagator to start off with, just to get them going, on top of a heat mat at set at 26.5 degrees centigrade, and they root very quickly, as you can see. Some of them you might not even get the roots where you want them to go, so instead just let them do their thing, and this is what kind of happens. But yeah, when you do take cuttings, like in most cases with any kind of plant or something, try and cut the cutting below a leaf node, That seemed to be the general rule of thumb, and it seems to be the general rule of thumb here as well, as you can see by these roots coming from this section here. So that's those. Okay, so this here is my serissa. As you can see, the tips here are starting to go a little bit brown as it gets higher up towards the glass, the top of the lid here to the light. So they don't like a lot of direct light, so the ideal position would be partial sun, partial shade, however you want. And also these bits here are starting to go brown as well. I can't remember what video it was, but I did a hard prune on this one. I cut it back here, which produced these shoots here. I've now pruned them here and here to produce 2 more sets of shoots on each of these shoots. I will be taking it out of the tank, I think, because I need the light for other cuttings, so and this guy isn't tolerating the light very well, so it's probably just a bit too pokey for it. But yeah, he's obviously got another little shoot here as well. He also had one down here, but I removed that because that was getting too vigorous and it was stealing all of the nutrients for these guys. So regarding the pruning as well, when it comes to pruning, these really stink. They don't smell very nice, so keep that in mind. They kind of smell a bit like vomit. That's the only thing I can say. So when you cut it off, a little tip off it, have a snifter, and you'll see for yourself, or don't. But yeah, probably I recommend you do have a good sniff, because then you'll know what I'm talking about. So yeah, this guy's just basically now a science experiment, if you like. So I'll be doing like more experiments on it in the future. Sorry, chap. But yeah, so that's it. They do also come in variegated as well. This was a cutting off one that I'd purchased from a well-known British bonsai store that I'm not going to mention, because it arrived in a poor state, and this was all I could salvage from it. It pretty much died about a week after I got it, because it was kept in the cold for some unknown reason. So yeah, I'm not going to mention where I got it from, because I don't want all their fanboys giving me a hard time about it. You know what people are like, they just love to troll, don't they? So yeah, so this is all that I managed to salvage from it, and I've been keeping that one in the tank as well. This other one is a different plant altogether. The main issue with these that people are going to be struggling with is is them flopping all the time. The best advice for these is to remember that they like a lot of humidity. If the tips are going brown, then again, yeah, you can try get in. Let me just move these out of the way for a second. You could try something like getting like a drip tray. For argument's sake, let's just say something like this, but a lot shallower. Something like just a few centimeters high, with some pebbles in the bottom, but more than that, bigger ones if you like, depending on the size of your tree. And fill the container up to just up below the level of the height of your drip tray, with stones, pebbles, whatever, and then put some water in it, and then pop your tree bonsai on top of it. Just make sure you have enough room around it, so don't have it the same size, because that won't help. It won't keep the leaves humid enough, so it's got to be bigger than the size of your pot, if that makes sense. So if your bonsai pot's like this, get like a dish or something that's much bigger and has a wider kind of channel all the way around it. So the leaves want to be totally hovering over the evaporating water, if that kind of makes sense. That should minimize the browning tips. Once you put it in a location, leave it, let it adjust. It might flop. They do. If you only have to sneeze on these and they go, oh god, they'll just go, oh god. No, but seriously, if you move it from one location to another, it will show you that that you've moved it. All the leaves will just start going droopy like this, and it'll look a bit ill. But leave it, let it adjust. Try and climatize it a little from one room to another. So, for example, my room up here is 21.5 degrees C, but it's quite a nice day outside today. The humidity is okay, it's 56, 57, whatever. But yeah, so if I was to take this downstairs, it would be a lot cooler. It's probably about 17 or 18 degrees in the living room. So what I'll do is gradually move it downstairs. So first of all, take it out of the tank from being in like 20 sort of 5, 26. Take it out of the tank, leave it in this room at 21. From this room, leave it for a week maybe, let it adjust, and then from this room take it to the landing where it's a little bit warmer, but not as warm as in here. Gradually, you could probably try and risk taking it from at one extreme to the other, but it might just take a little bit longer to recover, but it should recover. That's the main point. They are sort of like, in that regard, they are pretty hardy. Just ignore the telltale signs of it sort of like complaining about you moving it, and just let it adjust. And if it doesn't adjust, then obviously there's a problem with the humidity, temperature, heat. So yeah, so I think that's pretty much it. They do like to be warm. I hope that helps you anyway. I hope that helps with when it comes to pruning your little babies. I can't think of anything else more to add really. Yeah, that'll do. Okay, I hope that's been helpful. You take care, stay blessed and all that good stuff. See you soon.